Hello everybody and welcome back to City Skylines 2, where last episode at the very end we noticed all of these abandoned properties, and I wanted to take a look at what was going on with those. So let's take a quick look here. Noise. High noise pollution. It's gotta be noise. Okay, so this is that issue that we've been seeing that I have no idea what's going on with, and the game is not really providing any feedback. For example, this is an excellent example here. Why does this house have noise pollution? And none of these. And there's no source of noise. I don't know if this is a bug or what, but that's what's going on here. These are being abandoned due to noise pollution. And for now, the only thing that I've found to do is just let them rebuild, and eventually it'll fix itself. Usually not right away, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going on with all of these. We should probably check this. Yep, same thing. Okay, so I just want to check each of these little areas, right? And I want to make sure that we're not running into any major issues in any of these, but all of them appear to be being caused by the same issue. So for right now, oh, did not mean to get rid of that road. For right now, we're just going to get rid of all of these, and let's build this road right on back. There we go, that'll do. And we can tell that this is happening like that because of how randomly placed they are. I have no idea what's causing that noise pollution. Like, in some places it makes sense. Like, for example, potentially here. It's right next to the highway. That does make sense. But in other places... Hi, pause menu. In other places, not so much. Not so much at all. Well, let's kick on forward here for the time being. I'd really like to have a home here in the city, but there are none available. What gives? Well, the city is approximately like... What would you say? Like 60% residential? 70? Something like that. We're working on it. We're definitely working on it. More homes are being abandoned down over here. It's the same problem. So we're just going to get rid of those for now. There we go. That'll do. Excellent. So all is looking good for now. We've got all of these up here that are looking for more people. And more homes are being abandoned all the time, which is... I mean, this sort of turnover is good for dealing with our demand, but it's not so good for, you know, having a stable population. Oh, these are also abandoned? Or maybe they were both abandoned and the one in the middle wasn't. I'm not sure. Regardless, we've got more out over here. I'm definitely starting to feel some performance issues here. No doubt about that. Performance is dropping a little bit. It's possible that I might need to restart my computer. I haven't done that in, like, maybe a month. Yeah, that probably should be done at some point. That might actually help. So we'll get these taken care of. I'll probably restart after I finish this episode. Obviously, I'm not going to restart in the middle of the episode because that would break everything. So there is that. I just want to double check these. Yeah, these are being abandoned just for, I think it's just noise. And there isn't actually much of a source of noise here. I mean, yes, the highways do produce a little bit of noise, but look at the homes that are being abandoned. A lot of these are far away from the highways with no source of noise around them. Up here, it kind of makes sense. We've got a firehouse right there, right? And that does produce some noise, but I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the way that the game models these elevated highways in terms of their noise propagation. Because you can see here that these roundabouts are pretty noisy, but the noise doesn't appear to extend out here. Maybe that's just a bug in how the noise pollution map handles these situations. It's possible. I don't know. Regardless, we can continue to bulldoze these abandoned homes. They're being abandoned down here at a remarkable rate. Okay. So something along the lines of that will do for now. And then the question is, are we having any traffic issues? We are having some abandonment issues out over here. Specifically here here and up over here. And there's one abandoned home over here. But eventually it seems like they get over this. This is only in the relatively new developments that this happens. So I think it might actually just be a bug, and like these areas that they're in have like a random chance somehow of being incredibly noisy, and then they get abandoned. But then when it gets rebuilt, it might not be incredibly noisy next time. That's what it feels like anyway. I don't know that that's actually what's going on here, but that's what it feels like. Okay, let's get rid of these guys. Keeping this cleaned up a little bit over here. So something along the lines of that. Whoa, what's going on over here? Storm damage? Weather damage. Yeah, okay. Hi, pause menu. So we've definitely got a storm going on here, but that's fine. That's not a concern. That happens occasionally. This out over here, of course, we're seeing additional abandonment. And eventually, that'll stop. Eventually. But we'll see when that actually does stop. For now, I want to check... Ooh, okay, we've got two of these dense residential buildings that are abandoned. Okay, we never really have much demand for dense residential. I feel like we should be kind of transitioning into dense residential at this point. Because, I mean, look at just how much residential we have. It's a lot. No doubt about that. But we just don't have the demand. So, at this point, we can't do it. Also, this is kind of hilarious, just how much this marketplace dug into the terrain here. Same with the city hall. Both of them just kind of insane. Can we smooth that out? The answer is not really. Okay. We could use the slope terrain tool if we really wanted to and just do something kind of like this. And then something kind of like this. And then out over here as well. And then that we'd be able to soften out. I'd want to turn up the brush strength and probably the brush size a little bit out over here. And just do something kind of like that. But if we soften that too much, it's going to bring that back. But that does definitely cut down on it a little bit. The best internet connection ever, which reminds me, I don't think we checked in on the status of internet up over here. Indeed, we did not. And I'm just going to slap in a tower right there. Okay, so that looks good. No problem whatsoever. We're still losing money at this time, so we should probably not be building too much in terms of expensive stuff. And we should instead be expanding our population, which is still growing at 614 per hour. That all looks reasonably good. I'm not seeing any issues right now in terms of traffic. Correct. There are no traffic issues currently being flagged. I want to look up over here. The Spruce Highway is definitely taking a lot of load off of the Chester Highway. No doubt about that. Please don't park in the middle of the roundabout. That is not how this goes. I understand you're trying to move over into the other lane. You should not.
Yes, indeed.
What are you doing, bud? He didn't even move into the other lane. Why are they just parking here? I guess they're waiting for this lane of traffic to clear. Okay.
Now, let's hear another one of those.
In this case, I don't have an explanation, but whatever. Sure, that's absolutely fine for now. So, checking in on this intersection, it seems absolutely fine. No problem over here, at least right now. So that looks good for now. I think we're going to be okay to tick forward for a bit here. We're probably going to want to start developing down over here very, very soon. The question is exactly when, and how are we going to... we're going to have to import our grid over here. It's going to be interesting.
Certain metrics, perhaps yes, in the short term.
Definitely going to be interesting.
But what we are discussing.
Now,
is
one thing that I
study
find very
is
interesting
critical
about this is the way that these
abstraction and its
roundabouts
effect
just,
on the
like,
human
take a
Thank you,
screenshot. Not really a
Professor.
screenshot. But they're like a viewport render of the direct
And
down
onto our
area
main
here.
feature
So you can see
story.
here when we're
The
zoomed
commercial
out, it
district is
looks like the
booming,
roundabout
as
there
the
actually
area is
doesn't
attracting
have
more
anything in it.
high-end stores,
Which is kind of
bringing the
an
latest in
odd
luxury
choice,
to our
in my
neighborhood.
opinion.
You can
I don't
now
know.
shop
I'm
for
assuming it
designer
actually just
shoes
takes the
while
texture
sipping
from
a
the
fancy
underlying
local
terrain. It's
Java
not actually like a
latte.
viewport
Or
renderer.
so my
That would
wife
be a
tells me.
kind of
That's good
insane
for
way to
business
implement that, in
and
my
good
opinion,
for the
but
community.
whatever.
Thanks, Jim.
So yeah, it probably just reads the terrain map, but still kind of strange. I would probably just, if I was implementing something like that, I would probably just have it be green like this. And maybe have it get colored by weather effects, so if it's snowing, it becomes white. But that's just me, and that is quite enough backseat developing. We can come through and eliminate a bunch of these abandoned structures over here again. I don't think we need to embark on any large development project right now. I think our best bet at this moment is to wait for our current development projects to mature and just get these abandoned properties dealt with and let people move in. Our demand levels aren't all that high, and we've got these areas up here that are not all that developed. What do we have going on here? I'm assuming this is medium density. No, this is low density. Okay, this is low density over here that's just undeveloped. Okay. Noted. I didn't really expect that, but sure. That seems fine. Okay, so we are still losing money at this point, although it is turning around. We're down to 6,400, and we were at, I think, 8,600 before. Ooh. This looks like a bad accident over here that just popped up. And it's gone. It despawned. Okay. Well, never mind then. Exciting. So next up, we're going to, of course, continue to eliminate some of these abandoned structures. And that should be absolutely fine. Let's get rid of these. There we go. No problem. Cool. And then there's kind of nothing for us to do for the moment other than just wait for it to continue to tick forward. Wait for problems to crop up at this moment. We're just letting all of these things develop, letting our residential out over here mature a bit, and our population continues to grow at a pretty steady pace here. 670 per hour, not too bad. Down to 4752, and that's continuing to improve as our population goes up. I like it. I would prefer not to zone additional jobs at this point, so residential, or not residential, commercial and industrial, because we still have a lack of jobs in the city. Or more specifically, we have a lack of workers in the city, not a lack of jobs. This is a lack of labor here. This is a lack of high-skill labor. That's just a function of our education system, which is doing okay, but we might want to consider getting some expansion to our college and university. Okay. We definitely could consider getting something like a medical and a technical university. These are very expensive. For the time being, this is probably not the best thing to do. Where are our colleges located? I wish this showed us just colleges. What are you? You're an elementary school. Okay. What are you? Elementary. Elementary. You're a university. Can we get you upgraded at all? So that would be a university park. This would be an extension wing. Okay, we can definitely put in an extension wing here. So that would give us additional student capacity to our university, and I think that's worth doing. And then this would be a university library, which is basically an annex. Okay. And it wouldn't quite fit where I'd want to put it. It's incredibly close, but it wouldn't quite fit. The University Park is also an add-on. Okay. Noted. So in that case, our university should be good now. And then we need to locate our college. I think our college is up in the pollution zone, isn't it? Yes, it is right here. So the college library would provide students with a better chance of graduating, which I guess is okay, but that doesn't boost up our student capacity. Our student capacity is definitely on the low side, and so we'd want to get another college. I think somewhere out over here would make sense. This thing is awkwardly shaped. Okay, so we're basically going to need to take out a section of roads like this if we want to put this in up over here. And the college would end up going about here. And then we could see about putting in an extension wing, as well as the college library, which that would end up going about here, like that. And then any of this remaining area can be zoned medium density housing, which we might want to actually bring this road up over here to buy ourselves a little bit of extra zoning room. Yeah, I think that's worth it. So we just do something kind of like that. Okay, so that's of course going to cost us money, right? But that does boost all of that up. Our elementary school is doing okay for now. That all looks reasonably fine. How expensive was that? Okay, that was pretty expensive, 12,600. But we'll continue to grow for the next little while. I want to go through and remove some of these abandoned structures yet again. Eventually, they will stop spawning, based on my experience thus far. They'll stop getting abandoned. Each time we do this, it seems like it's slightly less that are spawning. So that seems okay. We'll get rid of those, and I believe there was one down over here as well. Yes. Okay, that looks good. Ooh, a traffic jam up over here. What do we got going on here? Where are you trying to go? Ah, they're waiting for pedestrians. That's the majority of what's going on here, I feel like. Waiting for pedestrians and lane crossings. A lot of these people are trying to turn down this direction and then go up onto the Myrtle Highway here. Not all of them, but that is a lot of what's going on here. Some are trying to go straight, some are trying to turn. We might be better served by having either stop signs or stop lights at this particular intersection. It's currently uncontrolled, and that might be a better option. So one thing that I wish we could do is, like in Traffic Manager in the previous game in City Skylines 1, I wish that we could say that these are stop signs here, 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 and this is not. That would be really nice. I wish that we could do that. But we might be better off to put in traffic lights here at this time. This might be a sufficiently busy intersection that we want to do that. Okay. So I'm assuming traffic lights in this game are just on a timer, but they might not be. There's a couple of ways in reality to implement traffic lights, right? Some of them are just on a timer where it just like puts an equal amount of time to each direction. So this direction and this direction, whereas some of them use sensors to determine whether there are vehicles attempting to go one way. And if there are, then it will after some amount of time. And if there aren't, why did you just U-turn there? Okay. If there aren't, then it'll default to allowing one direction to pass, generally the more busy direction. I'm betting this is just on a timer. That's probably the way that this was done. But we'll see if that cleans up. For now, that seems relatively okay. We do see a traffic jam over here. Oh yeah, that's a real one. Okay. So that is people attempting to enter the roundabout. Which is reasonably fine if we didn't have things like this oil truck just kind of chilling here. Again, this comes down to lanes, right? And lane switching. I wish that we were given more control over the lanes and specifically the turn lanes. So these painted symbols here, the turn lanes, the lane connections, which is kind of the same thing, and the yield and stop signs. Like, why did this guy just yield to this guy when this guy is way back here? That's not, like, he's doing it again. You don't yield to people who are not in the traffic circle yet. That's not how that goes. So yeah, this is a pathfinding issue. The question is, do we want to do something about it? Do we want to upgrade the throughput of this traffic circle? This guy is just sitting here, obstructing all of the traffic. Yeah, I feel like this needs to be patched. To be honest, this should be fully capable of dealing with this level of traffic. It's just that they're not pathfinding it correctly. Like, literally all it is you don't stop when you're in the traffic circle. Mr. Muscle Car, you don't stop, and the people who are already in the traffic circle have right-of-way. People entering yield. That's literally the rules. Just don't stop. Keep going. But a big part of the problem here, I think, and this is just a rendering issue. There is actually a connection in both of these lanes. We can see that. But a big part of the problem here is people trying to lane change inside of these traffic circles. What I would prefer to see is that the inner traffic circle just goes around, and the outer part of the traffic circle can connect to either of these lanes. That's what I'd rather see. But the pathfinding here is what's causing this, but it looks like it's working its way through. I don't think we need to make any significant changes to this particular circle. I think it's just a pathfinding issue, so once they figure it out, this sort of thing happens, and they'll eventually get there. It's just not pretty in the meantime. We have a similar issue up over here. Let's take a quick look. Okay, so this is moving okay. This is actually kind of how this is supposed to work. Yeah, well, you should have gone there. But okay. Yeah, get out of there. No, don't park there. Okay. Well, that's going to be issues. But again, I suspect, well, this is starting to back up all the way over to here. That is becoming a significant issue over here. So thinking about what directions they're trying to go here. I think the majority of these people are trying to go, it's currently evening, right? So I think that this is kind of rush hour traffic, and the majority of these people are trying to come to their residences over this way. They're going from their jobs to their residences. And for rush hour traffic, this is maybe okay. The real solution to this, like I've said before, will be to set up mass transit. We're just not really in a great position for that right now due to our finances. Oh, there was an accident right up over here. These cars are currently on fire. Perfect.
Good. Here they are. Well, never mind then.
And that's right at the front of this traffic jam, so hopefully the fire truck will get there in a reasonable amount of time, but it may not. I do feel like this traffic is, it's not moving super fast, but it is moving.
We're live, and we're getting reports about a traffic accident.
Yes, there definitely was a traffic accident. We can forbid left-hand turns here. That'll help matters a little bit. Are there any left-hand turns over this way? Actually, yes, there are. That will help matters a little as well. And we can get rid of these over here. Cool. There are some here, too. No left-hand turns. Apparently, we weren't forbidding left-hand turns when we built this. That absolutely should be the case. Okay. So that won't probably solve the problem overall. This problem will solve itself once rush hour dies down, but that's not really an answer to the problem. As I said before, the real answer to this problem is mass transit. Ah, a fire helicopter is heading over to this car. It did end up burning down. But the firefighting helicopter is arriving. And we have this police car here too. Okay. So this accident is definitely not helping this traffic jam. That means that we're down to 1 lane of traffic over here. Oh, two firefighting helicopters. That's great. They'll get that solved pretty soon. Yeah, just dump water from the sky on them. Perfect. That's magnificent. Excellent. So now this police officer is going to be securing this accident site. These should get cleaned up pretty soon. Okay, there's a road maintenance vehicle on the way. Well, that could potentially take a bit to get here. So the police officer presumably has this under control, but this is really limiting our throughput in this area. That is a big part of the reason why we even have this traffic jam. And to be honest, the traffic jam is getting better even with the accident. So I think that this is solidly under control for the moment, but that's most likely due to a reduction in rush hour traffic at this time. I think that's pretty obviously what's going on here. And there's not really too much to be done about it at this time. We do definitely need to get our finances a little bit more under control, and I would really like it if the road maintenance vehicle would get here. Where is the road maintenance vehicle? Where are you at? That is a really long ways away, and it doesn't seem interested at all in coming over here. Okay. So the police car is still securing this accident site. That is, of course, this police car right here. But yeah, this is the primary reason why we have a traffic jam over here. So that's absolutely fine. I'm not too concerned about that. At this time, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we'll keep an eye on this traffic jam, but I expect that to clean up. We'll also clean up a few more of these abandoned buildings, and we might start a new construction project, possibly down over here. We'll see what ends up happening with that. For now, our demand is not too high, so we'll see. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.